we are gapping down into Wednesday's high. Basically between Wednesday and Thursday's high. So we're filling this little gap here from Friday. It does seem like we're set up to flush into 264 on the open, maybe a little bit through there. We closed on Thursday around 263.60. So if we're keeping with the market, buyers being in control, higher lows off of this little pullback from earlier last week, somewhere in this band, if we overshot a little bit into, I guess technically this is the technical gap fill would be to here. This is the Spencer soft gap fill. For those of you who are newer, a soft gap fill basically is when a stock or the market, there's a gap and it touches the high of the range on the chart or the low. And buyers, it's a spot where buyers look to step in. The technical gap fill is literally this closing price right here. So the first spot I always look for is the soft gap fill. And we've got that right here in this little band. And so I want to see buyers step in here above 264. If we were to actually get an actual gap fill and then not come back up here and fail at this band, then I would start to think about recent support. But right now, the buyer's in control. Burden is on the sellers to show that this is going to be anything more than an overnight gap that gets bought in the morning. Let's take a look at IWM. So IWM is not even close to it. Oh, I guess it's almost as soft. Wednesday's high was 146. So Tuesday and Wednesday resistance was 146. Pre-market, we gapped there on Friday. A flush into this area here would be constructive. Very light volatility for IWM, which is typically significantly more volatile than the SPYs. All right, so it's light earnings today, but this will be the busiest week of the quarter. A lot of the big names reporting. For those of you who aren't familiar, you can just go on to the scanner, the SMB scanner, and click on the SMB button, and that gives you the earnings calendar, so you can see what's coming up Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But it's going to be very busy coming into the end of this month. I'm going into the week, so be ready. Caterpillar. So Caterpillar bounced with the market. We want to actually look at the daily first. So it had this big run in 2017 from 100 to 170. And as fears of global growth started in the last 18 months, it had a pretty big pullback. So even with where it closed on Friday, it was 20% off at the high. It had rallied back from just, first of all, the October, it put in a low in October. The December low, when the market was getting crushed, was higher than October. So we're showing relative strength to the S&P coming into the December low. Assuming the global slowdown in growth has already been priced in. Let's see what we rallied back here. So we rallied from 117 to 137, so about 20 bucks. Okay, thank you. Wow, that's a big guy down in Nvidia. That's almost at 20%. So we'll take a look at that in a second. Let's see how much Nvidia dropped. 6%. All right, we'll get to that in a second. All right, let's finish up in Caterpillar, but that's a really big guy down in Nvidia. So this 128 was interesting to me when I was looking at the 30-minute this morning. You can see we touched it in the pre-market, and above that, it's like, I guess 129.5, 130. And below it, 128. What I put on the sheet, I put 127. It's actually more. It's actually 127.5, 128, and then 129.5, 30. This is kind of like the opening band to look at. And then below that, there really wasn't anything. I didn't see anything until down here. So you can see it came into 128. This was earlier. Did pop back up to 130. Tested the 128 again. So I think our levels are pretty good there. They're definitely buying it into 128 here. I guess if they're buying it at 128.25. And seller is here. I thought that they had a big miss on EPS, which kind of shocked me there. But then they gave a guide in line for the year, so there might just be some shifting of earnings to a different quarter or something like that. I want to see where it. Just want to see where it is relative to the bounce. So the low here was 16. We're really buying it at 121.
Nvidia shares now down more than 7%, below 147.
So if this gets sold today, it's there's really good support here. I don't think it's going to come into this area here, but this is kind of, it failed on the open, couldn't get back above 130, and it starts trending during the day. This is kind of the area. It's already down 6%, $8 for. So that would be about that. This would be about down 10% on the day right here at 24. I'm going to see in the 5-minute right now, just it held the 28 support, popped back up, couldn't retake 130. Now it's holding lower here, 129. So they're definitely trying to crack this. And that'll actually be good. If it doesn't crack by much on 128, maybe by $1 or something, then gets back above, into this area here, then you'd look for the reversal. Yep, AMD would get whacked on the video warning. So let's go to Vale, V-A-L-E. So a dam broke in Brazil, huge tragedy. A lot of people were killed. I saw that they had their bank accounts, certain amount of bank accounts frozen. It's similar to PCG in the sense that just the liability, understanding what the future liability might be for these types of events. If we go on the multi-year, this was like down at below $5. Let's see. I remember trading it back in 2016-17. It actually went all the way down to $2. You can see for the last couple of years, it supported 8, then it's been supporting 12, and it's actually gapping to there right now. So it seems like there's a chance it could crack this. In fact, it was down, well, London's open was down at $11. It was already hammered on Friday. I guess that was related to this was probably the dam breaking on Friday. So it came off from 15 down to 13, gap down to 11. So this. So it already attempted one bounce here from 12. Actually bounced earlier to 1270. Hit a lower high of 1257. So sellers have definitely retaken control here. Question is, does it bounce again, make another lower high? Yeah. So it's going to be a pattern of like lower highs versus is this going to hold on the support here, just at 12, just below 12. It's going to do a lot of volume. It normally does 30 million, so it looks like it did 150 million shares on Friday. But huge volume, tight spread. It's going to be pretty low risk. And then finally, Nvidia, which warned, it's now, and in the morning looked really bad, and it's come off another $6 since I punched it up. Be curious to see. Citron, I think, came out positive on this one like about a month ago, right? So now they're going to come out today negative. Oh boy. Let's see here. Right. So this is what they came out positive and around here. Maybe it was this move. There's a lot of people called long this stock now. I mean, if it can't retake 148. This area here. Now, first of all, let's see how far it is off of the high. So it is possible that people were anticipating this. So it came off from 280. This is 50% from the high. So 140 is interesting to me. Almost at 140. It's now getting to an area where I would start to be looking for a bounce. Let's see here. Let's see the December sell-off, what it did. So it was here, 160, broke through 145, held 140 here, came back in, failed at 140. When it got back up, it just went right through. This looks like some sort of news here. Maybe this was the Apple warning. So the number was 2.27. I mean, it's like an 18% warning on revenue. They said plus or minus 2%. So somewhere between 16 and 20%. It's down 13% now. I guess it could come off a little bit more than this. I mean, I guess it could come off to the mid 130s, but you're going to get people bottom fishing, I think. So here was the initial reaction when they warned. Some lucky people shorted into this, 148. Yeah, down 14%. So I think it's getting real close. Even if it doesn't even get back up into this area today, it's getting down enough that a bounce, it's 37 to, this is $4 right here. So good. This is going to be really in play. It's going to be risky, but it's just the sort of thing that we like to see in our business. Okay, let's see how much AMD came down with this now. So this AMD is down at 2050, which was, remember, part of their business is the graphics chips. And so with that big warning, people are expecting that AMD will pad a bad number, report a bad number. People are starting to probably think about 19.5, 20 on this. But again, that's just part of the business, right? The other part is the chips that the big part is the chips with Intel that compete with Intel. It does have a tendency to overshoot. I mean, I guess people are looking to buy it here at 2050 because that was the support from Friday. What was that? I think that was our S2 on Friday, right? It never actually even got there. So yeah, I mean, playing for 2050 for a move back up to 21 is probably pretty standard, and that seems to have started already. What I'm really curious about is how strong it was and it closed strong. If this Nvidia warning is just kind of game changer, and it just even fails to retake 21, we'll see. Obviously, big news out of Nvidia. WDC, we talked about this was gapping up a lot. It's in a long-term downtrend. It went straight up on the open, then they crushed it, took out pre-market support. Didn't quite get a soft gap fill on that. Caught a bid below 42, then rallied back up. I didn't even notice this. Rallied almost back up to 44 into the close. Gapping lower this morning in the market. I'm kind of curious to see if this one starts to kind of catch a bid here between 41 and 42 and starts to kind of to base here a little bit. I did think this was an overreaction initially, the gap up here, but perhaps buyers will step up to this 41.5, 42 area, and it'll creep up a little bit higher from there.
Pressure on U.S. equity futures extending here in the pre-market. The Nasdaq 100 futures down 1.33%. The S&P mini down close to 1%, and the Nvidia shares falling 13%, more than $21. The VIX up 10%, 19.24. But the disappointing news out of both Caterpillar and Nvidia.
All right, S-Bucks. So S-Bucks gapped up, didn't really do much. And the guy who started it, Howard Schultz, said he might run for president on 60 Minutes last night, which I'm assuming, I don't know, people might think that's a negative for the stock. If we look at it on the 30-minute, it just had started to move, get away from this uptrend, and now it's kind of catching back up to this. I really would start to notice it. The news, the growth story is really intact on this one. If this retakes 67 over the next few days, I'd definitely pay close attention to it. Otherwise, $65, especially today with the weakness in the market, if it flushes. And then Intel is right back down at the 46 support from Friday. So it never can hold below. So look, I'm perfectly happy to play it on the short side if it can actually show some weakness below here. But with their news and the fact that it couldn't break down, although maybe this will be enough with Nvidia with the big warning. So I guess what you want to see on this is some weakness below 46, meaning it goes down somewhere to like 45.5 to 45.70, and then you see it pop back up and fail to retake 46, short into that, and you go from there. Let's check Nvidia again, see how that's doing. And we will start trading. All right, so it's stabilizing but not bouncing. So 137 was the low here. It did pop $2. I'm going to try to maybe push it to 135, 136. Okay. Again, the more it drops from 140, the better risk reward it's going to be for actually a decent bounce. So let's see, maybe it has one more down leg from here. Or it fails to have a down leg and actually starts to hold above 137.50 when you play for the move back up to into here.
Futures are down in negative territory. It's 198.
AMD is actually holding below 2050 now, so maybe we'll get the flush into 20 before the market even opens. All right, so it seems like it's gonna be a more interesting day today now. SPYs are actually down almost 1%. Took out that 240, 263.60. Remember we bottomed at 263 on Thursday, I think it was. Actually, it was 262. All right, so gaps filled. The low at the close, after the close, I guess, was 263. That's how I just remember that. And we were supporting there in the morning that day. We hit the 262, got back above 263. So it does seem like there's a decent chance we might flush into that now with this negativity. I did, while I was talking to you, buy some SPYs at 40 cents. We'll see if this starts to act, if this little 264 now starts to act as resistance. Maybe that was just enough to bring this back into play again. We shall find out in the next 90 minutes or so. As always, be patient and good luck.